What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate your appreciation. What's the problem with being a human being? Let's talk about this thing that we're all doing here called being a human, this project that we're all involved with of being a human being, and why it's fucking interesting and not easy. It's not easy being a human being because there's no direct step-by-step guide as to how to live a proper, successful, happy life as a human being. And the reason is this fucking thing called human being is part animal, part machine, and part divine. And good fucking luck reconciling all these three aspects of what it means to be a human being. This is what Jesus or Christianity, again, I'm not a Christian, I don't want to keep saying this, but I like Jesus, get a lot of wisdom. The Holy Trinity, right? The Holy Trinity. What the Holy Trinity is the union of the animal, of the machine, and the soul, the consciousness, the divine thing. And a human being that can live a happy, fulfilling life is someone who recognizes all parts of what it is a human being and reconciling these three parts together. A lot of times, almost any time a person is imbalanced in one area or another in life, there is an imbalance in the Holy Trinity, if you will. And if we look at modern society, specifically talking about the Western world, we're machines. We're fucking machines here in the West, and I would say everywhere in the world now. Because everywhere in the world is following the Western model, which is supposedly the best model, or so we've been told. Really, there is no good model right now, I'll tell you that. Maybe the Western model is the best that humanity can come up with in the last 100 years, and that is telling you a lot about the dire situation that humanity is in. But here in the West, the whole world's following the model. Human beings are treated like machines. So that machine element of a human being, I mean, think about it. The way your brain operates, the way your body operates, you're not all that different from a machine as a human being, you know? I mean, you're sleeping, things are happening, digestion is going on, your body's working like a machine. You know, let's take this food and get the nutrients and shit out all the bad stuff. Not the bad stuff, just the stuff we don't need. It's a machine. It's a machine. You got a problem here, you got a cut, the machine goes to work to heal it for you. So you're part machine. Except for here in the West, in the world now, human beings are treated like machines. Not animals, not divine beings, or beings that have the divine spark within them, but like machines. You know, and that's really not going to get you anywhere because you're ignoring the other two parts of you. Now, let's talk about the animal side. The animal side has been repressed, I would say, for the last 10,000 years. Ever since we domesticated ourselves into city-states, the animal side of a human being has been repressed. And the best or the most direct way to know this is the fact that all humans in all societies have to wear clothes. The fact that you have to wear something, the fact that your naked body in its natural form is considered a horrific, ghost-like scene tells you a lot about how disgusted we are by our animal nature and how guilty we feel about coming and shitting and pissing. You know, we feel guilty about these things, you know. We feel guilty. So that's why we have these places called the bathroom to go in, take a shit and take a piss. And nobody ever wants to mention that. Like, if you're in a meeting and you gotta go to the bathroom, you kind of like very guilty, with a very guilty tone of voice and attitude. Excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. As if you're committing a hideous crime here. You know, like, nobody wants to talk about the basic animal elements of what it is to be a human being. We just kind of shrug it under the table, right? Like, oh yeah, like, let's just, how about this? Let's not talk about shitting, let's not talk about pissing, and let's not talk about fucking and coming. You know, let's just shrug this. I mean, you know, like, these things are seldom talked about in the workplace. They're inappropriate. So you're sitting in the workplace for 10 to 12 hours, and very basic elements of being a human being, the animal elements, are not discussed. They're not discussed, they're not talked about, you're not supposed to talk about them, they're inappropriate. That tells you a lot about... that tells you a lot about society, that tells you a lot about how uncomfortable humans are with themselves, with this basic, animal body that we're in, right? Another way the animal nature is being shrugged under the rug is the way we build society doesn't honor the body. It doesn't honor the body's need for exercise, for movement, for stretching, for hiking, walking. Which, I mean, humans, for the majority of their history, have been very active, moving and going places. And the body, the animal body that you're in, your specific human body, the specific human body, happens to be a body that is addicted to movement. And that shows in the reward mechanisms that your body gives you when you exercise, when you take a walk, when you stretch, when you pump blood, when you sweat. Your body detoxifies stuff out of it. It's like that's something you need to do as a human being. Exercise is not an option. It's just something you gotta do. Because that's the thing. This is how it functions best. By movement and sweating. But we shrugged that under the rug and we said, okay, you know, fuck you. You're gonna get up and work like a slave for 10, 12 hours, like a machine. Right? The machine part of the human being. Then if you want to go to these places we call gyms that we built, where you can go and exercise, or if you want to go run in your neighborhood, or whatever, after work, after you've been fucking mentally exhausted and we've used you like a machine, then you can go and participate in these things. Really, really ridiculous. So yeah, the animal side is just shrugged under the rug as if it doesn't exist. Society pretends like humans, modern humans pretend like they're not animals. It's fucking weird. It's really, really weird. It's like, how do you expect to be happy when you're neglecting the one-third element of you? The animal side, the animal element. So that's completely shat on. The machine side of being a human is completely overused. People are slaves, they're machines, they're used up as machines for the economic system, for the religious institutions, all kinds of institutions, essentially. Then you have the divine element of being a human being. That's the third part of the Holy Trinity. That's the consciousness that is inhabiting this human body. Think of your consciousness as a traveler, and it's kind of chilling here a little bit for just a little bit of time. In the grand scheme of eternity, it's blinking an eye in this body. It's gonna go on for what? 80, 90, 100 years? 120 years? If you're a health nut who somehow manages to avoid the traumas of life, you make it up to 100 years, 110, 120. then what? Then you're dead, right? But that divine part of you is there. That's your consciousness. And actually, that's kind of why you're chilling in this human body. You're chilling in this human body because you are trying to increase the state of awareness of your consciousness. You're trying to level up in this cosmic game of becoming one with God again. Really. Going back home is what it really is. And that part is also shrugged under the rug. Now some of you guys are gonna be like, Saeed, you fucking blind, bro? Like over 50-60% of the world's population is Muslim and Christian and Jewish, and you know, then you got the Hindus, right? So it's like, Saeed, are you blind, man? Like, it's like 80% of the world's population follows a religion, man. You know, what do you mean we ignore the divine part of us? Most people follow the religions that they follow without experiencing them and fully understanding what the fuck is going on in the first place. You know, if people truly understood religion, if they truly understood the religion, and this is almost every religion, honestly, because every religion has the truth in it. If people really truly understood the lessons in the religion and truly lived by these lessons, lived it, embodied it, became it, we wouldn't have these fucking crazy religious fanatics going around, right? And I mean, you might tell me, oh, you know, like, you're only looking at a small minority of people, Saeed. Like, don't be ignorant. That represents the thinking of a lot of people. When a mass shooter comes out and shoots people in the school, you might say it's just an anomaly. It's one person. Guess what? That one person represents many people who are thinking the same way. So when this phenomena happens of these crazy religious radicals, right? It kind of shows you that this is what a lot of people are thinking. It's just that they're not doing it. So, you know, yeah, you might say it's a minority of people. They represent, you know, they represent a decent amount of people that think the same way, you know. If people truly understood it and it became in the mainstream of all these places that follow these religions, then not only wouldn't we have these crazy fanatics going around, we would have world peace. Because, I mean, that's really what every religion preaches. Unity, love, oneness, and yeah, we'd have like world peace, man. We'd have like a fucking beautiful place, heaven on earth. We would have a heaven on earth. We'd be living heaven on earth right now. But people just follow these institutions, these religious institutions, tell them, this is the truth, follow it, do this, do that, you'll go to hell, you'll go to heaven. And here in the West, that, like, it's a secular society, right? So that part is literally shrugged under the rug. You know, people don't know who they are. They don't really know who they are. And there is an awakening in the planet. People are waking up to this, to their true nature. They're remembering who they are. That's happening right now. So that's good. I'm very optimistic in that place. I'm very optimistic in people remembering who they are and getting in touch with the consciousness, the Atman, in what they call in Hinduism, the watcher, the loving awareness. I'm optimistic there. I'm also optimistic that people are becoming less and less machine-like and more integrated. But the one place that I'm not so optimistic with is the animal side. I really think we shrug that off as a humanity completely under the rug. And it's not healthy, man. It's not healthy. And this is a trap a lot of people who get into spirituality and consciousness fall into, is they, you know, a lot of times they say, well, you can't be identified with your body because it's not really who you are, which is true. You're not really your body. You're not really your ego. You're not really who you think you are. It's an illusion. That's not who you are. You're an eternal stream of consciousness that is having a temporary human existence, a human incarnation. But let me tell you this. Like any good actor, And let's talk about method actors here. Robert De Niro, Daniel Day-Lewis, DiCaprio. Like any successful actor, that they method actors. Well, method acting is essentially you take on the role and you basically take it into your daily life. So I know Christian Bale is another one, and Christian Bale had a movie. I didn't watch the movie, but I know he had to like become, very, very fucking skinny. Looked like someone from the Holocaust camps. And he like lived that role in his life. He became that character. Just like any good actor does that. We should also do that here. Take the fucking character like seriously. Like yeah, this is it. I'm in this animal body. And I gotta do whatever this animal body, says and tells me what to do, blah, blah, blah. I gotta honor it. I gotta like just use it. But a method actor, the best actors out there, although they're very much into the role, they know that's not who they are. They know this. They know this. Like the Joker, he did the same thing, right? The Joker, what's his name? Ledger? I don't know. I don't remember his name. But these guys, they get into the role and they take it to their life. Mind you, they take it to their life. And a lot of these guys, these serious method actors, they tell people around them to call them by the name of the character, and they start to act it out in their everyday life. That's why they're such good actors. But even then, deep down, that part of them that identifies with the actual character, actual person that they are, knows I'm not this character. In the same way, you take this animal body, you take this human thing that you're in, and you say, I'm a human being. I am a human being, and I fuck, and I shit, and I piss, and I have this primal urges in here, and I get angry, and I need to use this animal body. It's gotta move, it's gotta exercise, it's gotta go crazy, right? It's gotta go ape shit sometimes. Because it's inside, it's the wiring, it's wired that way, and I'm in it. And I don't want to shrug it under the rug. I don't want to repress it. I don't want to, that's where a lot of disease happens, repression, right? I don't want to pretend like I'm not in an animal body, right? This is, again, a mistake. Some people who get into religions and spirituality, they become too disidentified with the human body and with their sexual urges and everything else like that. I don't think that's healthy, man. I don't think that's healthy. I really don't think that's healthy. So, as you can see, this video's gone on for, 18 minutes. And as you can see, this is a very complex thing. I mean, I don't know what to tell you here. I mean, good fucking luck trying to balance all these parts of you, Sometimes you get this part in you that just wants to have sex and eat and binge eat, and it's like that can be unhealthy too if you do it too much, and if you indulge too much, it can be unhealthy. So it's like, how do I balance these things? And you become too spiritual, and then you're floating all the time, and you're not grounded, you're not here. Right? Like you're not here, and I've seen it happen in my own life. Like sometimes I'd just be completely up there, like sort of in my head in the clouds, and I'd lose my grounding here. I'd lose grounding, which is being on earth. At the same time, sometimes you gotta be a machine, and I see this sometimes, like when I'm working, and I'm writing my book, and putting everything together, I gotta be a machine. I gotta sit down and write, and I literally gotta treat myself like a machine. All right, time to eat. After eat, you're gonna go 3 hours, you're gonna work on your book or whatever you need to work on. Yeah, it's a difficult, delicate balance that we must, it's sort of a journey, the middle path, as the Buddhist says, the middle path. Holy Trinity, trying to establish a union between the three parts that is you. And to me, it's a beautiful thing. It's what makes being a human a beautiful thing, an interesting thing, an intriguing thing, that we're all these things at the same time. It's a fucking incredible thing. Anyway, good luck to you guys balancing this shit out. Wish you all the best. Love every single one of you guys. But don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes. So subscribe.